What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Co-Living Show. My name is Craig Curlop,
Miller McSwain.
and we've got a pretty dope boy fresh episode for you today. It's nothing like we've ever done before. We're bringing on Gina and Brian Kingdeski about building co-living homes, like basically from the ground up, full renovations and nice co-living homes too, to really increase your occupancy and all that kind of stuff. So they talk about how they're getting their rooms filled. 6 to 8 rooms filled in 2 weeks, like 98% of the time or something like that. They're selling their product for higher than everybody else. If you want to see like where co-living is going, this episode is 100% for you. What do you think, Miller?
Yeah, I think this is when we brought on Harrison Demara. So he was doing like a totally different version of co-living anyway than anyone else, doing it in like large multifamily. I feel like that's how this is. We haven't had anyone on that's doing builds, super deep remodels, and all the benefits that come along with that. So yeah, I think that's a super cool part of their story. And you'll hear, but they're really deep into setting these houses up properly, which is much easier to do when you're building from the ground up. But there's tips that you can even apply if you are just remodeling existing homes too.
100%. Totally, dude. What's up with you, man? You got right into it, bro. We were just like, no, there was like no fun. Sorry. That was me. Usually that's you. I'm usually the fun guy.
Yeah. We just did some fun stuff, didn't we? We just got back from Salt Lake City.
Yeah, we got back from Salt Lake City / Park City. We went to a scaling.com event, which is a group that we're part of, Benjamin Hardy's group, and it was mind-breaking. We got some big stuff coming that we'll reveal to you guys as it comes to fruition, but we've got some cool stuff working on the back end.
Yeah. We always talk on this podcast about how important it is being around other business owners doing big things. And this is the group that me and Craig are in that's less real estate focused, right? So yeah, we go to Bigger Pockets and we go to Better Life. Like we go to those sort of conferences and summits and everything. But this was more of a general business, which was super interesting, actually. I've only ever been to like real estate specific conferences. So it was good to be able to, in some capacity, like bounce things off of people who play in different sandboxes and get that out of the box sort of thinking.
For sure. Yeah, it was really cool. Awesome. Before we go into Brian and Gina's story, we have a question from the Co-Living Community Facebook group, which if you're not a part of the Co-Living Family Facebook group, get in there. It's on Facebook. Type in Co-Living Community. Easy peasy. We got Craig Parsons asking us, what do you all do about dishes and dishwashers? Is having a dishwasher mandatory or a pain? Who runs it more importantly? Who empties it? Seems to me no dishwasher would be nice, since that way everybody has to just do their own. And how do you supply the dishes?
Awesome.
Miller, this is a question for you.
Yeah, definitely. The way that we do things is if there's already a dishwasher that's present when we purchase the property and set it up, then great, we're not taking it out. I do know people that will take them out though. So in reality, what we see is the essential piece is having a dish drying rack. That would be number one. No matter what, you want to have some sort of drying rack next to the sink, because since these are individuals that are often eating by themselves or with one other person or whatever, it simplifies things if they just wash their own dishes and then put it immediately on the rack instead of putting it in the dishwasher and waiting. But if one does exist, we'll leave it there. But as far as do we supply the dishes? Yes. And there was actually a really interesting reply. So this is a real question that was posted in the Facebook group, and I was looking at it the other day. And someone recommended that they actually provide different colored plates per bedroom. So that way you really know who left the dish out. You do know who didn't clean their dish, who didn't dry the dish, whatever. It helps you keep some like a tracking record of that. So I thought
that's a good idea.
It's a really good idea.
I mean, and also you bring some color back into life too. You have a red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and you go violet. For my Roy G. Biv people out there.
Hey, how many? Let's see. How many? Can we get 8 beds, 10 beds out of
the colors? Surely there's enough plate colors for.
Then you're going to get complaints about teal versus blue, and that guy left it out. No, that's the teal one. But
we got to get better, higher quality cameras. That's what's going to need to happen.
Yeah, I think so. And for our colorblind people, we'll see how that goes. But I thought that was a great solution. And that is not on purpose, but that is totally a showcase of why you guys should be in this group. These sort of questions are being asked all the time. And at this point, co-living is so not mature yet that there are tons of solutions out there, just like this one, that people have never even heard of that could fix some of your operational problems. So I love that.
Yep. Awesome. Again, if you're not in that Facebook group, come hang out with us in that group. That's where all we live. But in the meantime, why don't we bring on Mr. Brian and Mrs. Gina Kingdeski. Brian and Gina Kingdeski. Welcome to the show, my friends. How are you doing today?
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, we're pumped to have you guys on. I feel like you guys know so much about real estate, co-living, flipping, so much, right? There's no way we can get it all today. So, can you just tease the listeners a little bit as who are you guys right now? And what are we getting into today?
Well, kind of like we talked about earlier, we've been fixing and flipping properties for 26 years. We've done over 2,500 houses, and we're just flippers. Real estate's been my entire life, most of Gina's life. And yes, we know it. We've made a lot of mistakes and we've done a lot of things right. And so that's where it got us today. But we found out about pad split about 3 years ago in co-living. And once we kind of heard about it, and we had a bunch of vacation rentals that we converted to pad splits. And then from there, we just fell in love and grew to where, tell us about where we are now.
Yeah. So we are investors first and foremost. And like Brian said, we're fix and flippers. We're also general contractors and realtors. So we do it all. And now we are trainers as well as teaching other people to do what we do. But I love to dive more about how we found out about co-living and how it's completely changed our lives for the better, where we've made a complete shift and all our focus is to helping people in need and helping the affordable housing crisis that so many people are involved in right now.
Yeah, I definitely want. I think that's a good place to start, right? So, 26 years of house flipping. Gina, where did you come from? Were you
So
flipping houses or?
I actually started in my real estate career. I worked for D.R. Horton, which is America's largest builder here in Arizona. So I did new home sales. So I'm used to large volume, having a pipeline of 75 to 100 houses under contract. I was doing it during the peak of COVID. So had these huge long build times, some communities up to 26 months. And then, like Brian said, about 5 years ago, I decided to leave corporate America and really join forces and start building our rental portfolio, learning the insides and outs of the crazy eighth world wonder of wholesaling and fixing, flipping, and then Airbnb, and then entered co-living, which has really just changed our perspective on everything.
Yeah. I'm curious, like, what do you think of Airbnb versus co-living? Because like they're both trendy, right? So, if you were like a real experience in both, I'm curious to hear your thoughts about it.
For us personally, we literally bought about 30 homes, and we were in the process of, I think we had 14 of them live.
But we bought 30 homes in less than 6 months.
It was a really short time. And these were all monster, like we themed them all out. Like we had one that it was like on an acre, and we created a whole farm experience. So we're not farm people, but we had horses and we had donkeys and goats and turtles and ducks.
And we had alpacas. We had never owned animals other than our dogs and our cats. And Brian's like, let's get some alpacas.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that sounds like a good idea.
That was the plan all along. He wanted the alpacas, and he's, how am I going to get Gina on board?
Yeah,
I love them. They were so sweet.
We've done a lot of crazy stuff, but for us personally, in Arizona, if you didn't have a pool, the bookings were very inconsistent. So the wintertime, you did well, you made money, but come summer, it was just dead. And so that's when we got introduced to co-living, and we converted 3 of our homes, and they were $1 million homes. And it was totally different than the other homes that are on pad split and co-living homes. So these rooms were going for a minimum of 300 a week, where normal homes are 200 a week. So it was just different. We ended up filling the first home in 5 days. We broke a record, and then we did the other 2, broke the record, and then we started building them, and we fell in love with it. But the magic difference for us was you can be stabilized. So like I was talking about earlier, we build a minimum of 8 bedrooms, 3 baths. So about 6.5 rooms, you're stabilized, and then the rest goes to the bottom line. Mm-hmm. So that's the magic formula. And so for us, Airbnb, there's so many reasons, but for number one is your expenses are taken care of, you're stabilized. But Gina can tell you about all the crap that you deal with in the Airbnb.
With Airbnb is at first, like when we really jumped into it, and like we talked about with our animal experience, we really tried to create these experiences for travelers. And so having these theme-based houses, whether it was a rock and roll house or an ocean theme house, and it was fun. It was really good. But here in Arizona, like Brian was saying, in terms of not having a pool, we were struggling in the summer months. And then what, 3 or 4 years ago, we had the Super Bowl here. We have waste management, and everybody and their mother decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna join this Airbnb
I'm going to go out of
VRBO.
town for a week and rent
Yeah.
my house.
And so we had a surplus of short-term rentals in Arizona. At one time, there were over 60,000 short-term rentals, and that has
Holy
decreased
smokes.
significantly.
Yeah.
But I just found, and for managing them all on our own, dealing with the nuances of the high cost of turnover for cleanings, the high cost of restocking all the supplies, and how everything was based on one person's perspective of your ratings and stuff. You have one person come in and they're like, oh my gosh, there's a cockroach outside in the middle of the summer. In Arizona, cockroaches are pretty common. It's not considered, oh, you're a dirty person if you have a cockroach, but that can just tank your listing so quickly. Shifting from that to the co-living has been awesome for us, and we're excited.
I remember one time it was like 10 o'clock at night on a weekend, and this lady called and she's, I only have 6 hangers in my closet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go check the other closet, honey. There's another 6 in there. And so it was just the constant, they were so high maintenance, and we were super hosts, but it was a level that was no other, especially when you have a bunch. Here, with the homes that we build, they're beautiful homes. People are so thankful, and you're helping solve the affordable housing crisis. So for us, like the mission behind it, and we love God and we love people. And so this fits with our mode and our mission. And it's changed everything for us.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting that you guys have converted short-term over to co-living. I think that's a big question in the space that I think a lot of people are having, just as you guys have heard of the Airbnb, what is it, Airbnb bust, right?
Yeah.
The term that we've heard thrown around. So there's been a lot of interest in people converting over. And in fact, even in mine and Craig's portfolio, there's a handful of houses at least that I can just look at and be like, oh, this used to be a short-term rental. There's 4 different common spaces, like coffee bars, like all these like cool amenities. And then they were like converted over to co-living.
Yeah.
And then we have some like super standard co-living at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious from y'all's perspective, when do you think it's worth it to convert? If someone has a short-term rental that's not performing super well, can any property be converted, or is it like a specific sort of case?
So we get these calls all the time, and we've helped out lots of people who are in that exact situation. But obviously, if you're here in Arizona, you guys can connect with us and we will do our process and help you from there. But the big thing is to optimize how many bedrooms you can get without destroying the homes. We do things a little bit different. We like to have big family rooms and gathering areas where most co-living platforms, they don't necessarily care about that, but we want to keep the integrity and feel of the home, and then also maximize the number of bedrooms so it looks normal, but then you can also have the maximum number of bedrooms. You don't want to chop it up and not have a little dining area and a little family area and make it feel like a normal home. For me, that's how we do it. But we will go in there and we'll analyze each house. And then there's tools like on some of the co-living platforms, like PadSplit has resource guides where you can go and it will tell you your expected weekly rates for a normal room and then an ensuite, which is one with a bathroom. So we take all that information. I'll look at the comps and the value of the home, and we just use our 26 years of experience to guide what is going to be. At this point, we want to make sure our clients are taken care of. We had one client that wanted to destroy his home, which was beautiful. It was like $1 million home, and he wanted to add all these bedrooms and bathrooms. And I said, hey, John, I think you could put 30 to 40 into this. And with how nice your place is, you can maximize your amount of money without spending 200 grand to saw cut the house to add all these bathrooms and stuff. He was completely happy, but that's the stuff we do. We're not going to make people spend money they don't have to. It's just years of experience looking at a house and coming out with the best use is really, it's a little superpower, but you can learn it. It's just doing it a lot.
Yeah, but in terms of the Airbnb, like how you were saying, you can look at some on a portfolio and tell it was an Airbnb, because there's those little added touches. But guess what? People that are living in co-living houses, that they get those little added touches, that's pretty cool.
They
like
love
our
it.
first 3 that we did that were like over the top, they were amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 questions here. One is like, how much does it cost if I've got an Airbnb? Rough. Obviously, I know every house is different, right? But like roughly to make that conversion.
So a lot of it depends on the size of your AC unit in their square footage. So if you're adding rooms underneath the roof, then all you have to do is put your ductwork into that bedroom. But if you're converting a garage, you may have to put another unit on. So that's the biggest starting point. But if you just say you just have to add bedrooms, like the 3 that we did, we probably spent less than 15, 20 grand with labor and materials, because we just threw up some walls, and then we had to build a little hallway in the master because the pad split. I don't know if I'm allowed to say pad split, but co-living, I'll keep saying it. It's a 4-to-1 bedroom to bathroom ratio. So we had to build a little hallway in the master. So that master now became a community bathroom.
And it was a huge bathroom. Oh my gosh. It had they all had huge showers, Roman soaking tubs. It was absolutely beautiful. But then we also did a conversion in the garage there. So these homes in Scottsdale were from the 50s and 60s. And so they had 1-car garages. So we made a conversion into a bedroom on those and dropped that ductwork into there. So
it's not as much as you think if you have crews, or even if you don't, you just got to find the right people. And if you're in Arizona, we can direct you and take care of you really good.
Yeah, and plus, if you do have a short-term rental, you have a lot of the stuff already in the house.
Yeah.
Like when we're going
Beds
we're going to that final end, and let's say a client comes to us and they're like, hey, can you stage all this? Can you get it ready to launch on a platform? We're spending typically it costs about, or for our clients, about $12,000 to $13,000 to do all that. If your Airbnb already has those beds and stuff, has all the decor, you're just going to our nice little list on Amazon, these pop-up beds, the mattresses that come, just roll them out and buying your mattress pads and getting the Wi-Fi approved locks and stuff. So there's lots of ways, but starting from that short-term rental to the conversion, that's a nice taste of getting into the co-living model for sure.
Okay, guys, so I am curious, since you guys have done both strategies, I'm kind of curious which one you feel in your experience is more scalable. So I know a lot of people in the last 5-10 years did build like large short-term portfolios and scaled them. And I think people scaling their co-living portfolios is a little bit newer. And I know whenever I started 4 years ago or so, everyone thought that scaling a room rental business was like the most unscalable thing. So kind of curious from your perspective, what it's like having both and which one you're able to scale better, less stress, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Do you want me to take this?
Yeah, go ahead, take it.
Yeah, scaling the Airbnb business, there's a lot more, in my opinion, a lot more details that go into the houses. And you're spending a lot more money furnishing those houses and making them stand out. So on the Airbnb or VRBO platform, you are making a difference for everybody else. Whereas with our co-living houses, we are still producing high quality homes from ground up. So taking Brian's background of coming from fixing and flipping and buying properties off of wholesale list, and me coming from the new home industry, our standards are like way up there. So when you walk into our homes, you're seeing a brand new home as if it were a new home. And for us, it's easier that way just because we really hold a lot of weight on quality and our hearts are in it. And if we go in and we're just throwing up a few walls, there seems to be a disconnect of the flow of the house. So we always build with co-living in mind, not like throwing up the walls. So scaling that, super easy. We have a lot of connections, especially here in Arizona. We have lenders that you can purchase a fully converted home, 8 bedrooms, 10 bedrooms, whatever it may be, with 15% down. So the entry level is still there for you to be able to jump in. Sorry, my words aren't coming together.
Yeah. So the big thing is it's the friction of finding the right co-living house. And that we talked a little bit about before we got on air. So that's why we started the Green Light Buying Machine, because and we're basically training other fixing flippers or contractors to do what we do at the same quality, because the inventory of our homes that we build there, that's a huge demand. That's why we developed what we developed, to help solve that problem, because there's a lot of people that love co-living, and if you don't have the right people that know how to do it, it's going to be a little bit of frustration going on there. And it's going to be a lot of hoops you got to jump to find the right people that can deliver the right product without screwing you over, who knows exactly what co-living requirements are, with all the way to fully furnished, to the signs on the wall, to launching it on the platform. We do it all for you. And we have all the players. In 26 years, you meet a lot of people, you test a lot of people. And so we've got this team together that knows how to do it. And everybody wins. The people that stay there, they're happy. They stay longer. They pay more. They respect the house because it's beautiful. And then our host, the owners of the home, their home gets filled faster and they love it and they get stabilized faster. A lot of the time and I'll finish up the question, but a lot of the time we finish a home, and then at the same time, the buyer is in the process of finishing their loan up. And so we launch on the platform, and almost every time the home is more than half filled before they even own the house. So it's an absolute magic formula, and everybody loves it. It's a win-win for everybody involved. And this is really the only business where you can make money and help people. It's amazing.
Yeah. And what Brian was saying too about the quality of our homes and everything, we have people that have been in our co-living homes for over 2 years. And I don't think they are ever going to leave. And we love them. They've become such a part of our family. So managing our own portfolio of co-living homes, we're going over there couple times a week. My dad is 73 years old and he's our maintenance guy. So he's checking in, doing the air filters, and we really get to know, and there's a good sense of community. And that to us is the secret to having a successful co-living house, is providing that sense of community in a home that has quality standards, that is laid out, that flows, and it's just awesome. So
I love that. And like the other thing too is that when you're buying a co-living home that's not meant for co-living, it tends to get beat up a lot faster. But you guys are building it with it in mind, and it's new, and so capex super low, all that. One thing that what we're kind of asking is like, what are the returns look like? I guess for you as the seller, if you don't mind sharing, as well as like the investor, buying because there could be someone that buys a total junkie, right?
Yep.
Remodels it or just tears it down, builds it just like you guys. What's an ROI for someone like me or Miller that's never done that before to do that versus someone that's going to buy it totally ready to go?
Yeah, even just to set this up a little bit, me and Craig talk on this podcast all the time about how the great thing about co-living is we can go straight to the MLS, we can buy something that's turnkey, and we can actually get above zero cash flow. And for us, that's usually 10+% kind of cash on cash. Yep. So to even break this down a little bit more, if you guys have these numbers, I'm super curious about your returns for if you know what people are kind of getting when they buy turnkey, which is how most people enter this space, versus the advanced stuff that you guys are doing. Me and Craig say it's like an extra tool in your tool belt. If you could do these larger remodels, you could juice more returns out. So turnkey versus remodel versus building maybe.
Yeah, like I said, the way we do it, it's built for co-living. So to us, that magic is the 8 bedrooms minimum. So we always tell people, so if it depends on what state you're in, and if you have an account on the Pad Split website, there's a resource guide. If not, we can provide a link in the notes and you can go on there and sign up and then go to the resource guide and you enter in any zip code and it's going to tell you what a room will rent for, if it's a standard room or if it has a bathroom in there, an ensuite they call them. So here in Arizona, the normal bedrooms get about $200 a week, and then the ensuites get right around $300 a week. So big difference. So our 8-bedroom homes, they gross around $7,500 a month. Okay. So you can just do the math, and they typically sell for $530 to $625 range. Okay. So if you're putting 15% down, you can do some typical math, but I'm just giving you some general ideas, and then I'll answer the question of what I tell people it is. The expenses is about $800 a month, and that's 2 cleanings a month. And then whatever your mortgage is, and then you'll have some fees for Pad Split. And then whether you're a property manager, you're going to hire a property manager or you do it yourself. So you've got some variables, but I tell people you'll cash flow from $1,000 to $2,000 a month on one of our minimum of 8 bedrooms.
And the nice thing is that equity, that long-term play in it, the value of the houses here in Arizona, we've been very lucky, continues to grow. And so this is why it's a great place to start building your co-living platform.
Yeah. And we talk to people about that because some people in different states are like, we pay $300,000 for a home. And I'm like, that home in 20 years is going to be $300,000. You pay for a little bit more here, but you're going to get a home that has less repair and maintenance because we put a stamp on it for 2 years. So everything basically is brand new. And if something AC or something, we send our guy out there and he takes care of it. It's just a higher quality product with less problems. And yes, you'll pay 520, 30 to 600, 625 range. But that asset is going to appreciate more than some small town in Atlanta or something like that.
How does this compare? What's the typical square footage of this house that you're building?
Good questions. Again, finding the wholesale deal. We have a complete buy box. And like I talked about earlier, we do have a mini course if somebody wants to do it themselves, or we have the full course if they've got enough skills where they can scale with us. But typically we're buying homes that are 1,300 square feet, typically converting the 2-car garage. And then maybe you've got a place off the back patio you can add. So if you start with a 4.2, 1,300 square feet, you got the garage, you're at 6, then maybe another spot somewhere inside the house is 7, then maybe the back patio is 8. So you're taking that 1,300 square foot home, and it seems like they're always 2,000 to 2,300 square feet at the end.
Yeah, and we do really in-depth floor plans that we provide for all of our clients too. So we really see how it is, but it's so neat to just see, hey, we walk into a house, it's 13,000 square feet, and by the time we're done, 13,000 would be really big.
80 bedrooms.
Yes.
So it's a process. So the first thing is we have to analyze the deal. And then if the deal makes sense, the next thing is we got to get access. So if that works, then boom, if it can be a co-living home, there's a couple steps that you have to do. And then after demo is another time to reanalyze what you want to do. And then when you meet your crews out there, you're reanalyzing to get the best use of the property.
Yeah. So like, how does it compare? You said your end price is usually around 600 or so. How does that compare to another 2,300 square foot house in the neighborhood? Not co-living.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Yeah, I would say the majority of our homes, the end price is 540, I would say is the average. Okay.
Right.
So again, all the buyers are going through lenders and all that stuff. So they have appraisals done. So it all appraises. But like I said, our homes are probably close to the top of the market, but they're deserving and they're brand new and they're beautiful. So you can't sell it for more than what it's going to appraise for.
Do you find that you lose value at all when you're taking away a garage, which people probably like in Arizona? No, there's no value.
No, we haven't.
It's more the opposite because you're getting a nice producing asset that sells more. Our homes, they do sell more than most of the comps in the neighborhood. Like we're pushing it just because of the quality and the size of the home. It's pushing the values up a little bit for sure.
The nice thing too is that we've done so many in this market now that we've become the comps. For all the neighborhoods, we're becoming the comps. And stuff,
that's true. Every home we do within a mile, there's another home that we've done. And so when the appraiser goes out there, we send them the data and it makes it a slam dunk.
Oh, okay. So that was going to be my big question. We've had guys on, Fernando Corona, and he talks to us about so he's a lender. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him.
He is.
Oh, cool. Yeah, great guy. So, but he always talks about this issue of, hey, once you go over 6 beds, and maybe this is where Craig was going, but once you get over 6 beds, you might start to see a value dip. And even more importantly, you might start to have refinance issues because you don't have any comps. So in your case here, even if you're selling to some buyer who's going to use it for co-living, you guys aren't seeing issues with appraisal and lender, even if it's already at 10 plus beds because you've created your own comps.
We have worked 3 years with our lender to get all these out. And then even some of our investment buyers, corporate investment buyers, they have their own lenders, but we just worked through it. That's one of the mysteries. Co-living is fairly new, just like Airbnb and VRBO was. And then they didn't have a product in the beginning and now they do. So there's always a little bit, but with our gal, the magic about her, which is different than anybody else we talk to, is that we can be fully furnished, launched, income coming in, and then the appraiser goes out there because we've trained them what it is, that it's not a boarding house or something like that. So we've worked through all those systems. We've solved all those problems, and it's been
awesome. That's the biggest thing. Like you were talking about Fernando, I know he is listed as somebody that can do these type of DSCR loans and everything. But a lot of these lenders say, hey, we're going to refinance it or we're going to buy it. And then you go in afterwards and put up the walls. We don't want to see this stuff. But to be able to have a lender that full disclosure knows what's going on is a slam dunk, like Brian said. But it's taken a lot of time for us.
Years to get it down.
Yeah. And we have had buyers, oh, I've got a lender. He says he can do it. We'll get right to the finish line. And guess what?
Just
Red light.
kidding.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so we're throwing it back over.
And that's
to
reason
our
why
lender.
we started launching on the platform as protection. It does two things. So if you're using somebody like PadSplit as your platform, they take the first 10 days to recoup the cost that they spend the $500 to $700 to fill the room. So that first 10 days is basically goes back to PadSplit. So we do that. The first reason why we do that, because we eat those first 10 days. And so our buyer doesn't have to. And then the second thing is if they're not using our lender and it's out of control, our control, we get protection because we paid for it.
Yeah.
We paid for it. So we've got hard money or private money that we have to pay interest on. So it was a cover for us just in case, but we haven't had any problems. They've all worked out fine. But that's one of the things we do that is really unique is launching it. So there's income coming in. We had a client that got eight out of 8 in 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks.
Before they own the house.
Yes.
Wow.
The majority of them are 6 of 8, 5 of 8, 6 of 8, 7 and 8. Our market is so hot, and these homes that we produce they're just so nice. Our members that stay there, they just love it. And it's very rewarding. We had to go to a house this week. And it's different guys or girls that are in there, but this one had all girls, and we met them for the first time, and they were just on and on and on.
Oh, they just love the house. But the thing that was so good, coming back to the sense of community, the girls were sitting there. I'm like, oh, you look nice. Are you going to church? She's, oh yeah, me and this other girl who she just met, I'm going to take her to my church. And so just to see that sense of community was amazing.
Yeah.
That is how we build it too, is all around the community side. I'm also curious, like, I think this might be, I'm not gonna promise you this is the last construction question, but at least it's the last one on my mind right now. Is what are some like the special features that you do for a co-living home, like building from the ground up, that like we wouldn't think about?
We got to put some of the photos on there. If you guys can do that for your listeners, because it's going to blow your mind away. We always do 2 side-by-side refrigerators. We do 2, and they're stainless steel and they're nice. And then we do 2 sets of stackable washer and dryers. Again,
the full-size ones,
really
not
nice
the little
front loaders.
ones.
And yeah, really nice stuff. So that's the biggest thing. And then obviously the number of bathrooms is huge. As we keep doing this, we're also learning. We're focusing now, we've changed, and we're doing a lot more en-suites because those en-suites just produce way more income. So we're trying to do 2 en-suites. Again, thinking with the client in mind, it stabilizes them faster and it just gives them more cash flow, and en-suites are going to demand. So
yeah.
That,
but what about before that though? On the construction side, you're going to hear this. If you watch any of our videos, we talk about sewer scope.
Yeah. So we always start
plumbing.
We start with the sewer scope, and not only a sewer scope, but we also do a location to show the depth. So obviously, because our name's on this for 2 years and we don't want problems and we don't want our buyers to have problems. So, we typically have to redo the whole sewer line. If not, just imagine if you're taking a 4.2 and you're adding 3 more bathrooms or 2 more bathrooms, you got to know where to tie into that, and you got to know the depth of it because you have to have the proper slope and all that stuff.
And the right size plumbing too.
And the right size pipes, a 3-inch or a 4-inch. And so there's a lot to it. From the sewer scope up, everything's different. And again, it's the living room and dining room area. We like to have that because we've been in other people's homes and they just look like hotels or hospitals, very cold and sterile, bedrooms stacked on top. It's just
hallways and everything.
I wish you guys could see one in person. You would love it.
If you were here right now in Arizona, we're having an event at one of them this evening. We would love to have you there.
I'll be in Arizona in a few months, so.
Oh, good. We'll have to connect.
We're coming in August, believe it or not. So.
Oh, great time.
Please reach out. We want to show you a home for sure.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we definitely will. Hey guys, the tool I've been talking about forever, Co-Living Pro, is now officially live. So some of the biggest problems that I've encountered around co-living are always on the marketing side. So you can think of Co-Living Pro as a marketing software or a tool to help you overcome some of these marketing issues that we all run into in the co-living space. So number one, it helps you determine what to price your room at and then how to change that price over time. And that's actually a free tool. You can go there to colivingpro.io, and there's a little like rentometer type tool where you can punch in an address, punch in a zip, punch in a city, and kind of see what rooms might rent for there. But it does that for you. And number two, historically, for us to keep our rooms operating at full capacity, especially when we're off a pad split, it's meant that we had to post on Zillow, post on Zumper, post on Apartments, post on Roomies, post on all these places. And with just a 5-bedroom house, that's already 20 listings right there, which is a lot of work, a lot of time and effort. So Co-Living Pro helps you solve this. You just make your listing on this one site and it pushes it to Zillow, pushes it to Zumper, and we even support any platform with the manual listing manager. So you can still be on Apartments, still be on Roomies, still be on Pad Splits, still be on anything. And it's kind of a wizard that helps you stay organized, your VA stay organized. It shows you what rooms need to be posted where with just quick copy paste prompts. Copy your rent over, copy your description over, boom, you're good to go. And number three, historically, now that you're on all these sites, we always had to hop in daily or at least weekly to keep these listings up at the top, keep the pricing up to date. So Co-Living Pro solves that for you too. It's making those adjustments for you on a daily basis, even an hourly basis, to make sure your listings are updated across your platforms. So you guys know everything I've always done has been free. The community is free. This podcast is free. I'm super proud of that and definitely going to keep doing all that. But this tool is paid, but I feel comfortable doing that because the numbers are honestly pretty insane. So if you go to Co-Living Pro, there is a calculator where you can do this for your own situation. But let's take that example earlier of the 1 5-bedroom property. From that, we estimate you'll make an extra $1,400 a year in extra rent and reduced vacancy. And that is 5x what the tool costs. Let me say that again. This tool produces 5x the return of what it costs. So in this example, that's actually a better return than most co-living properties themselves, being around 15, 16%. So seriously, to me, this is a no-brainer. So head over to colivingpro.io. This is the tool that I built for my own business, and I'm so happy that I can finally share it with you guys. And back to the episode. Quick question real quick about your en-suites. So you said that you guys are doing more of those. So you said you usually have 8 beds, right? It's like how many of those are en-suite versus not?
So the minimum, the 8 threes, we would probably throw 1 ensuite in there. But now we haven't really done a 3 in a while. We're more 8 fours to 9 fours to 10 fives. But it depends on what we have to start with. But we're doing a minimum of 4 now, really. But I say 8 threes, but because that's the minimum that we want to do. But if we do an 8-4, then 2 of them are going to be en suites, and they just get more in their private bathrooms.
And it all goes back to what I just said on the sewer scope, knowing where the lines are, knowing where the clean arts to see if you can put those en suites in there and stuff and where they can be laid out.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes have to run like new sewer to the city?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Our homes sometimes, they look like a graveyard sometimes.
Yeah. Does it require a new, like, at what point do you need a 4-inch of it? I thought they were all 3.
So if you have, say you have more than 3 going into 1, from where it connects to the city line has to be 4.
Okay.
I know. It was actually something newer that I found out. You're not going to have any problems, but being to code, it's even with 3-inch, you're not going to have any problems. So unless, it would be rare that you would have a problem, but
Yeah. And here's the thing too, something going back 3 years ago when we started and everything, making sure you have the little details in all your bathrooms. All of our bathrooms, it says sensitive pipes.
Yeah, we throw signs
Only
up even
toilet
if it doesn't.
paper, because how many times you get a lot of people in co-living where they're strapped for cash and stuff, and so they're just grabbing the napkins from Taco Bell and using them in the bathroom and everything. So
it can happen.
Back,
we have not had any problems in
a while.
long
but
time.
It's just setting those little details up and those expectations on those phone calls prior to accepting someone living in our homes.
Okay. So like what you guys are doing, I think is super cool. I don't think we've ever heard of anybody doing it like you guys before. Two questions that are, oh man, my head just gets flooded with them. Okay. Number one, which is somewhat related, is 2,300 square feet, 8 beds, 3 baths. It doesn't, or 2 baths, no 3 baths. It doesn't sound like there's a ton of room for like common area. Do you guys There is. So where is that? Give me like, where is that common area for you guys?
Believe it or not, some of the times, so like I said, so there's a process of getting to the final design. So when I pull up the home on the computer, when I first get the lead, I'll go to the county assessors and I'll look at the sketch. Okay, so it starts with that, and then if things make sense, we will get access, and then we go look at it. But a lot of the times, once we do demo, once I have one of our contractors, he's been with us for 22 years. He does all of our main stuff. His name is Manny, and we love Manny.
And now he knows co-living.
And he's also another set of eyes where he thinks, okay, we can do this better and we can design this better. Where we first start and where we finally end up it's different. But some of the times we take the kitchen of where it currently is, the kitchen gets completely moved sometimes. It depends on, we want to maximize the square footage with the rooms, it's really important for us for it to flow well and look well. Some of the houses that we've done have been so cool. They've been like complete squares, and so you can walk through the whole house around everything. And we've been lucky and done some cool stuff. But it's actually not as hard as, once you do it, it's not as hard as it sounds.
One of the houses we just launched 2 weeks ago, and we just closed on it with the end buyer yesterday. It actually has 2 common areas too. So it's got a front great room type feel. It's got the kitchen. And then behind that, we have a workstation set up with countertop and more cabinets and a dining area. And that house is only 1,900 square feet.
It's right at 2, I think.
Yeah, at 2. And that is an
8-4, 2 en suites.
8-4 with 2 en suites. So there's definitely enough room. You just have to be able to train your brain to see things a little bit differently and utilize the space, not what you're being told of throwing up a wall the minute you walk in the door, because then you're back to that hotel feeling or that dorm room feeling. But hey, where can I gain added space within the house?
It's actually been a little bit easier once we stopped doing, we still do some normal flips, but before, because it's like your mind of walking a house, if you're going to flip it or you're going to do a co-living home, is completely different. It's been easier, but yeah, you would get used to it. It takes a little while. Sorry, talking. Get excited about it.
No, that's great. Yeah, so I agree. I think the floor plan is incredibly important. We have houses that are probably 2,200 square feet or whatever that you could fit 8 bedrooms in. And then we have some that are 3,200 square feet that also only have 8 bedrooms, just because of how inefficient the floor plan may be when you buy it or whatever. So when you guys are designing a floor plan, Gina, sounds like you might be more into that, or maybe it is you, Brian, but any quick tips that you guys have around building that floor plan? For example, we had somebody on who was talking about, hey, you probably don't want to build bedrooms right next to the kitchen if you can avoid it. Do you guys have any quick tips around that kind of stuff?
We don't mind that.
No, it all goes back to, it's so much easier the way we do it, but harder. But when you're buying a cheap, ugly, wholesale discounted house that you walk in and it smells, man, your floor plan is what you want. It's like starting with a fresh, Gina paints. She gets a fresh board and paint. She can paint with a fresh canvas. She can do whatever she wants. It's the same thing. It's almost like we're doing a new build because everything's new. You just walk in and you're starting, what's the best purpose and flow of this home? It's actually easier doing it the way we do it versus taking a rental, a vacation rental, or buying off the MLS and trying to configure it to make it what it's not meant to be, versus we're creating whatever we want. It's a blank slate.
It is. And it's funny because we utilize, when we walk into a house and we start to visualize where we're going to do things and stuff, sometimes we'll get a marker and we just draw on that wall. We're like, okay, we're thinking this is going to go here. We're going to think this is going to go here. And then it's interesting to see throughout the process, like Brian was talking about bringing Manny in, his experience with doing our co-living houses and stuff. He's got some great ideas too. So based on what we originally thought to that end product, it's pretty similar, but it's interesting to see how it comes along. And then I use Canva and stuff to create the floor plans. And then once we launch on a platform, not only with our professional photos, I'm using AI generated to help stage the bedding, which is amazing, because before, when we were there for photos, I literally had bags and bags of bedding and then running from one room to the next. But now I've got that and I disclose it in all the listings. But we do the 2D floor plans from the professional photographers as well. And that shows the square footage for members in selecting their room. And then I also color coordinate them so they can decide, hey, I don't mind being next to the kitchen. I get up in the middle of the night. I don't want to be making lots of noise for everybody else. I just sneak out of my rooms. And it all goes back to where those sewer lines are.
Yeah.
That's where it's going to come down to.
Yeah. So Gina, I've been in that same bucket. We have 3 or 4 different colored comforters so that every picture doesn't quite look the
Yes.
same.
Oh,
So
she
I would,
got this AI thing like 6 months ago, and she freaking loves it.
I was
yeah,
so against it, but I'll share my prompts with you if you want, because
Yeah.
it has been a game changer for us. And once you'll see some of our products, you'll see, ooh, that's really nice.
no, that's super cool. That would save us a lot of effort and time.
Yeah.
What's the tool called?
I use the tool that's called ChatGPT.
Oh, really? That's it. Okay.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah. But it's knowing those prompts. But I was completely against going forward with AI. And we have 5 children and 29 to 21. And just to hear their opinion on it. And I'm like, no, it totally takes away your creativity. And I want to see you use your brain. But heck, if I'm not lugging around all those comforters and moving them,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm all for it. Raise my hand.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just going to be more and more involved. I was talking with a guy this morning, and he was setting up a co-living house, and he's starting to theme his houses differently.
Oh, okay.
And he said that he's setting up a space themed house right now, or a space themed room or something like that.
Yeah.
And he said that he had AI generate all of the artwork for the house, and then he had it printed locally and put into frames. So instead of buying whatever custom or pre-made canvases that everyone has in every pad split listing, he has this custom art, and it is AI generated, but just crazy. I can't imagine how we'll be using it next.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much he's spending on
Yeah.
that, because we also have ways of really just dialing it in and keeping your costs low, but looking really nice. And
Yeah, we get treasures from the homes that we buy. We'll get treasures from Goodwill or
I am the
Ross
Goodwill
or
queen.
all those areas, and they're all different. And then the other thing, Craig, that we do is every home we do some kind of a design wall. And our guy that's been with us for a while, his nephew's working with us. And now we just say, hey man, can you do a design wall here? Anything you want. And he gets so excited, and everyone looks different. Every design wall looks different. So,
and we'll tie it around the color of the cabinets. We really try and just mix it up, because if you go on a lot of these co-living platforms, you're seeing the same. If it is newer, you're seeing the same white cabinets, but we're bringing in colors. We love
it's really funny.
green.
We had a guy from one of our clients from Seattle who we never met. We just asked him because he had a really heart behind this, because he came to America and he actually lived, a family took him in and he lived in a room. So he heard about co-living and heard about us. And so we got him involved a little bit, but we did green cabinets, and they were a dark, rich, masculine color, not like a bright.
Or sage
and
or anything.
that house filled up, was the fastest one that filled up. And we're like, the kind of light bulb went on. So now we're doing different colors. We do green, we do blues, we do all these different colors, and just to stand out on the platform. And it actually works. And then Gina will tie in the color of the cabinet to the design wall, and it's really cool. We're going to send you some photos of some homes, and I definitely want you guys to check it out, and your listeners, and just it's exciting. It's just, when you've been doing it as long as we've been doing it and have done as many as we've done, you've got to do stuff to find a little bit more joy in this. This business is hard. Real estate's hard. It's not easy. And so just changing things up a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I love it. Yeah. Honestly, what you guys are doing, I think it's super cool. And I think a lot of the space is going to probably just like Airbnb, kind of what I had an Airbnb, and I rented out a bedroom in a basement in Denver, and the bed was $30 sheets, American flag on them. You've probably seen them, not tucked in, $20 desk. And I got $1,100, not a single piece of artwork on the wall. And I got like $1,100 a month for that bedroom.
Wow.
And now I would never rent. Right. And so I think co-living is going to see that same trend and you guys are like light years ahead of everybody, where it's, the crappy little places that are just being segmented up are not going to do well. And there's going to be a lot of nice, beautiful homes. There's another guy named Mario out of Boston. He does like $300,000-$400,000 renovations on these like triple deckers out there. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's probably a similar style to you. And he's full. He can't buy fast enough.
Well, if you think so, people, when they hear about co-living and pad splits, I always have to go back to, hey man, you're just doing a single family residence. It looks different. People get a little confused, and there's a little disconnect when you're talking about co-living in a single family residence. It's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. And so if you think about it, and if you're making $1,000 to $2,000 a month cash flowing, okay. And right now, a normal single family residence, you cannot cash flow. You'd be very lucky to cash flow. If you bought it at the current market condition prices and you bought it at the current interest rates, cash flowing. If you broke even, you were a hero, right? So if you want to grow generational wealth, everyone knows real estate's a great tool. So right now, the normal single family residence you can't do. Come in, co-living, pad split, or whatever other platform you use. You are actually, when you're paying, say you pay $540 for one of ours, and you're making 1,000 to 2,000 a month, you would have to buy 10 normal rentals to make the same amount of cash flow as ours.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So
Makes
it's
perfect
just,
sense.
it's
Yeah.
explaining like this, because it is a little overwhelming. People, there is so much disconnect. The more we talk to people, pad split or co-living, it's the same thing. It's a single family residence. All the other economics apply. So you have your members are paying down your mortgage. You hope for, in Arizona, we've had historically a 5% appreciation. And so you've got the magics, you got tax write-offs, you got all that magic coming in, but then you're actually cash flowing where you can't on a normal rental unless you're putting 30, 40% down, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's a magical thing, and I feel like more people that need to hear about it, they got to get into it. A lot of our clients, they're about the same. They have their W-2 employees. They're sitting on 100 grand or more. They want to invest. They don't know how to. They need to get into the game and get a house as fast as they can, because you will love it. It will change your life. It really will.
Yeah. I'll just say, like, that's exactly what we had to do in Colorado. Same thing. Colorado's the same exact way, and that's how we had to cash flow. Guys, we're about getting ready to wrap up, but I do want to ask you one question here. How do you guys incorporate your faith into what you build and in the communities that you're building?
I love that. Being Christian, like Brian said, we love God and we love people. And I have found that the more we talk about God on all of our conversations that we have with individuals wanting to stay at our house, it really gives us some insight. And the amount of people that connect to us because we talk about God is overwhelming. So, in terms of how we dive into it in all of our homes, I talked about going to Goodwill. Guess what? I am always buying faith signs and little things, talking about scripture and placing it throughout the house and having grace for individuals when people get stuck in a hard situation. Like, we have a gentleman who's been with us for over 2 years. He is consistently late, but I give him grace because I know that I would want that same grace given that he's on a fixed income and stuff like that. So we really just talk about God with everybody that we meet, and we talk about how he's leading us. He will always light the path in front of us. And so we love talking about God. Brian?
It's actually the opposite of the way you think. So we had somebody that told us, "Hey, you talk about your faith. You're gonna make people, half the people won't, come and talk to you." And I'm like, actually, the half that do want to talk to us, they're the half we want to work with.
Yeah.
Because it's a two-way street. Obviously, people are interviewing and they want to see if it's a good fit. We're doing the same thing. At our age, I don't want to work with anybody who doesn't want to work with us and who's going to be high maintenance and stuff like that. So there's a lot of trust, because a lot of our clients, we never meet until, sometimes we don't meet them until we do a
big grand reveal of their house,
and then we're like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you, Brandon. I've never seen you." So they're doctors and they're different medical sales and all these different fields, but our avatar is about the same. So we found that, especially on our YouTube videos and stuff like that, we talk about our faith, and then it attracts people who also have the same faith, and it seems like it's just a different person. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think
Best way to answer it, it's like you're speaking the same language on the back. It just, I don't know, it comes from a different place.
And also, you might talk faith with someone who has not come to faith or has not found Christ yet. And so you never know when you're going to be that light shining on that hill for somebody else. And talking about God is the way that we do that. So
the coolest thing about it all, I think, is like you could have conversations with like hundreds and hundreds of people about God, and you may never know that they come to Christ until you get up there someday. But there's a seed that you planted that like just kind of germinates and all that.
Yeah, I mean, that's our story
beautiful.
too.
So,
we each had that in our lives where somebody reached out and talked about God, and we always believed in a God, but then they planted the seed, and then that led to just
it's the random people. It's the random people. I can tell you a few people in my life that like it was like the most random people that had the biggest impact, like a guy I randomly met hiking or a guy on a train or whatever. And so for you guys are those random people for a lot of people. So
I worked in the restaurant business. I was a server, and I had my GM was sitting on a table with his Bible open, and I went over and sat next to him.
that's it, man. Those are the God moments. So I love that you guys do that. I really do. So keep doing it. Good job.
Yeah. And our construction company is actually Trinity Design and Construction. So we're always using faith in everything. We're just trying to include it wherever we can.
Amen. Love it. Awesome. Okay. Now we're going to head into the final part of our show.
Okay.
We call the
Big
three.
Big three.
I like it. Let's do it.
You guys ready? I don't know if you're ready, but
Let me stretch.
yeah. Up, down, up, down. All right. What's one tool or system you use in your business that you could not live without?
Do you want to go?
Oh, you're going to leave this with me? Oh, I wish I would have known what the big threes were. Maybe I should.
No, that's the whole point. We don't want you to know.
The tools is if we're evaluating a home. So it's pad split resource guide, MLS, tax record, sketches. I guess that's one big tool that I really couldn't evaluate a home to see what the value is. I could not do without that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
I'm going to throw mine and just say my chat GPT so I can do my bedrooms now and save time in that aspect. Yes.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Big one, number 2. What is one transaction, renovation, or maybe like a housemate type story that you've experienced that did not go well? And what did you learn from it?
Oh, it did not go well.
Yeah. What's your biggest like crazy story that's entertaining and you learned something?
You got one?
Oh, we have a couple. Do we want to disclose how bad? You know what? One of housemate situation. I think a lot of people don't realize affordable housing is a real problem. And a lot of the people that are in situations that they can't afford a 1-bedroom apartment or anything, because here in Arizona, we're looking at about $1,300 to rent a 1-bedroom. So a lot of people who come into this are dealing with might have mental illnesses. And we did have an individual that at one house.
Talking about Jimmy?
I'm talking about Jimmy.
It's good that we're talking about this because with everything you do, you're always going to have problems. Nothing's perfect. So
Correct.
It's good that you're sharing.
Yeah, we had an individual who had a mental breakdown and
drug related. He relapsed.
Yes, but we ended up spending several hours over at the house with him, and he literally talked about how he had special contacts on that were like X-ray vision contacts, and he
lost it, man. It was bad,
and it was really hard to deal with. There was a lot of damage done in our bathroom as well, but what we learned from it is you have to be able to have compassion in all situations. Brian actually, after we left the house, went back to the house and spent about 4 hours outside sitting and talking to him about faith and God and everything. So even in the bad situations, you have to learn to have grace, compassion on individuals, and see it as an opportunity to share something that somebody might know.
Yeah. He had emergency contact his dad. We called his dad, and he did have a series, and did he do something? I guess he either drank or did some drugs, and it just got him back. But he just lost it, and he was talking like alien stuff. There was nobody home. It was really sad. He was like taking his tuna out of his tuna can and burying it in the backyard and then eating it. Like it was
he buried everybody's food in the backyard.
It was full blown and he's a younger kid, and I'm just like, we're not equipped to do this. We called the cops and we got him out of there. Pat Split's really good about supporting you and has your back. We've never had to go through the eviction process. It's all been done through the platform and stuff. So that you're going to have those problems. I'm glad you brought that up because nothing's perfect. In the 3 years we've been doing it, we probably have had 2 mental health stuff. But other than that, I can't say,
Yeah, that's what I would say is just maybe read up a little bit on mental illness and have some compassion where needed.
Yeah, no, I love that for sure.
I'm more of when those situations happen, I'm more protecting. I want to protect the members and the other people in the house. That's our goal because we always preach safe, clean place. Got to be that all the time.
Yeah. And if that tuna is buried in the backyard and it wasn't your tuna, it's not very safe anymore.
We gave everybody gift cards. We got through it. We didn't die. It's okay. It's going to happen. Yeah. You got to have that. Like a rental is an asset, and you got to think about it that you can't get too emotionally tied. Even if it's my house, I understand that. You just got to back away, trust the process. You got to trust Pad Split. You got to trust their years of what they've done with 34,000 doors. Like, you're going to get through it. It's okay.
Yep.
Great
Yep.
question.
No, 100%. Yeah, no, 100%. We hear a lot of those stories, and it's just the nature of the beast is you're going to deal with some stuff. Okay. So outside of this podcast and our co-living community on Facebook, where are you guys learning the most about co-living today?
Learning the most about co-living today?
In the trenches.
In the trenches, yeah. When we're putting together these houses, we surround ourselves with like-minded people. And what we're really working on here in Arizona is building a sense of community of those like-minded individuals, whether they're investors or they're fix and flippers who are wanting to get into this space. We do jump on YouTube and other podcasts and stuff to try and find out more about what people are doing in other states. But what we're doing now with our green light buying machine and educating and training other people to build these houses, we are going to be going nationwide here. So hopefully we will be in Denver and other places to really start making co-living more accessible for investors who want to get into it and just don't have the knowledge of how to do it, because you think you can throw up those walls, but there's a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
And we've got all
we created a course for people who want to do it themselves. So if you wanted to do a home yourself, we have a little mini course. It's not that much. It's under 5K. It breaks down the whole process of how to do it. And then we have another course where if you're someone who is a fix and flipper or a contractor who can scale, you have experience, you've done 15 to 20 flips, you have a crew, you can source your own deals, then we have a whole nother program where we basically help plug in our buyers to what you're doing, and it changes the game. So imagine, because a lot of the time when we acquire a home, before we even close on it and own it, we'll take it to our buyers and they'll raise their hand up and they want to buy it. So if you're a flipper, you have your home sold before you even start. Imagine that, right? And so it's been good, and we're testing it here in Arizona. We've got students and they're producing homes, and so we're working out all the bugs and figuring it all out. And so it's been exciting. But yeah, like Gina said, we want to go to all the Pad Split co-living core markets, and so we're really excited about it.
Awesome. Cool, guys. Before we get out of here, then where can people find you guys if they're interested in any of those resources that you guys have?
So I know you were talking about your Facebook page. Brian and I do not do social media, believe it or not. We made a decision almost 5 years ago. So we do not have Instagram or Facebook.
TikTok or
Snapchat or anything. We primarily use YouTube, and it's at Brian and Gina King. We have a whole section, about 60 videos just on co-living itself. We also have other podcasts where we talk about Christ and our beliefs and setting rituals within your day for success. And the other thing is I'm on LinkedIn. Yep. So I use LinkedIn as a platform to reach other like-minded people and professionals like yourself.
Awesome. We can leave our emails, and who wants to get a hold of us, we can give that to you so you can put in the notes.
Yep. And we have our professional construction website as well as our Greenlight buying machine course website as well that we can share with you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure to get to know you and understand your business and what you're doing. It's so exciting to see some builders in the space.
Yeah, we're excited. We appreciate it a lot, man. And we're just thankful you guys are kind of spreading the word and doing what you're doing. And you guys have a great show. And I think your audience is going to continue to grow. You guys are providing value, and it's just a great source for people to get some good knowledge.
And we can't wait to see you in August.
Yes.
Make sure you bring lots of water bottles. We'll take you to some houses, and hopefully we'll have some of we're just starting, so you can smell the way they smell with no AC. And then show you some finished product as well. But
I hope the finished ones have AC at least.
Yes. Thank you so much for having us on, you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Great to see you. Yep.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
That was Brian and Gina Kingdeski. What'd you think about them, Miller?
Man, so great to hear from them. This is the first time that I'd met them. I don't even know if we got into their unit count, but I was just reading a second ago. They have over 300 co-living rooms that they've put into service, whether they own them or not. But really love to hear about how they're setting up the properties in particular. I'm sure you're interested in how they're building them and everything. But from my side of things, really optimizing the floor plan for kind of this resident experience. And the kind of the surprising thing that I learned here is just how many bedrooms you can fit into a smaller square footage if you have that blank canvas or close to a blank canvas. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there for us to get even higher cash on cash. If we can actually have a smaller footprint, a smaller property, but still have the same number of people there and it still feel like a great experience if you do it like they do.
Yeah, that really blows my mind. I can't wrap my brain around a 2,000 square foot home with 8 beds and 3 baths.
Yeah.
For us, you got to have probably at least 25 to 2,700 square feet to get that.
Yeah, but imagine you're doing this from the ground up and you have the blank slate and say that they're probably a little bigger than this, but 100 square foot rooms and there's 8 of them. That's only 800 square feet. So it's really just how you spend the extra space. How many hallways do you have to access those rooms? If there was like one hub in the middle.
And they don't have stairs. Stairs, low-key, adds a decent amount.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, cool. Okay, if you guys made it all the way this far, thank you. It means you really love us and we really love you too.
Yes.
And if you haven't already, please leave us a rating and review on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts.
And if you're not a part of the co-living community Facebook group, would love it if you join. We actually just dropped a poll the day that this episode's releasing, asking about the biggest bottlenecks that you guys are experiencing when you're scaling. So go over there, cast your vote, see what other people's issues are, and we can all help unblock these issues for everybody and help us continue to grow.
Awesome, Miller. Thanks so much. And can't wait to see you guys in the co-living Facebook community, co-living community on Facebook.
There it is.
And until then, if you want to follow us individually, I'm Craig Curlop.
And I'm at Miller McSwain.
And we'll see y'all next week.